Hello everyone, here is Alan Suero again doing one of my videos on how to elevate yourself from sadness and stress, depression or anxiety into neutrality, peace, joy and happiness. I've been reading a book by psychologist David Hawkins. This book is very interesting because this book confirms some beliefs I've been developing by reading several books and by reading the book of Louis Hay and by reading books about a person called Proctor, very motivational, and by reading another book called As a Man Thinking, I believe is the name. As the Man Thinking. It's a strange name because it was written on 1923. And now I read this book by David Hawkins, and what they all have in common is that they present your state of awareness and consciousness in different ways, but all of the ways they do it, they give you the perspective that you are a spiritual being and you are a soul. Okay? And I talked before about what's the soul and what's the ego, but to make it clear in this video, I'm going to repeat that definition. Your soul is your spiritual self without pride, without selfishness, and without ego. That is your pure self, right? And your ego is the part of yourself that elates you when you have a win and then punishes you and brings you down and provides you with all the excuses and all the reasons you can find to punish yourself, to feel anxiety, and to feel depression. That's the ego. All right? So, if you want to elevate your state of consciousness, which as you elevate your state of consciousness, you go from sadness and stress into joy and happiness. They are similar because they both walk high by the same way, by the same steps. Okay? So if you want to elevate your state of consciousness, what you have to be aware of is that you are a spiritual being and you start taking the perspective of your spiritual being rather than taking the perspective of your ego. As you change perspectives and you start taking the perspective of your soul, then you start climbing those peaks and valleys all the way higher into being more your soul than being your ego. All right? Joy, peace, and happiness lives in your awareness of your soul up here. All right? The ego, sadness and stress live down here. Okay? Don't matter how rich you are or how high in power and politics you are, when you work from your ego, you're more fragile every day because all that will be taken away from you. Even presidents can only be in power for 8 years. All right? and that would also be taken away. So that's gonna be my video for today. Remember to take the perspective of your soul and start letting go the perspective of the ego, because that will take you from being sad and stressed into feeling peace, joy, and happiness. Okay? That's all for this video. See you on the next video.